Good morning, card community. It's RJ back with another video. So let's get to it. Coming to you face to face today because one of the things I'm going to do is do a little bit of a complaint about something I've seen and wag my finger judgmentally at some people. But that's later on. So starting off with what we always do, today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day from 1978. An RC Cola can. This one is, pretty well banged up and dented, but copyright date right there, 1978. RC Cola. It's one of those old steel cans with the pull tabs that you don't see anymore. Kids don't even know what we're talking about when we say that. But cool little Mike Schmidt item I keep on my shelf. There's a couple other cans I have to get, but that's just the one I have. Today's random baseball item of the day. This is a shout out to all Phillies fans out there. I picked up this one from Topps Now the moment it happened. If you were a Phillies fan, you'll recognize this image pretty quickly. This is the Topps Now release. That day, Real Muto and Castellanos were running on each other's heels and slid 1-2 into home. Really good thing. Here's the bio on the back. Now, for all you local Phillies fans in the Philadelphia region, I bought a 10-pack of these so I could give them away or trade them or whatever. So if anybody in the local Philadelphia region, I know there's Phillies fans around the country, but I want to keep it close to home if possible. If anybody's interested, I have a few more of those available. I'm going to keep hanging on to some of them, but I have a few more I can give out. So you know how to reach me if you're interested. Today's trivia question. Today's trivia question, on this date in baseball history, August the 4th, 1982, this man becomes the first player in Major League history to acquire a base hit with two different teams on the same day. Played in a morning or a business person special during the day. Got traded mid-game after he'd come to bat, had a hit, and was sent off to his other team. Told to just hang out in the dugout. We probably won't use you, but game went long, and he stepped to the plate late in the game in the different city, different team, and got another base hit. First man to ever do this, August the 4th, 1982. Name him. What you're playing for, again, as always, 3 Hall of Fame cards, smattering of different styles and players. A lot of people probably don't like these cards, but I think they're cool. Plus, it's a Hall of Fame player. 2012 Panini in the triple play. This is a Roy Halladay card. I think this is part of a puzzle piece, but it's still a Roy Halladay card. 1993 Bowman. Early release Smith with the Cardinals at this time. Lastly, as always, a Conlon collection card. Hall of Famer Ed Walsh, pitcher. Shows him as a coach here, but it does show him with the White Sox, which was his primary team. And again, as I love Conlon, the reason I love Conlon collection cards is it shows these old players, but then gives them their career stats. So Ed Walsh is one of those players you're not going to get too many cards of unless you get some reprints and whatnot. So that's what you're playing for. If you have any interest in those cards, just shoot out a guess to that trivia question. Send me an email. I'll include my email in the description below along with a repeat of that question. You will have today and tomorrow to answer. We'll pick a winner on Sunday, all right? Good luck to everybody on that one. So today, my little wag your finger rant to some of you guys out there doing videos is I'm watching with great interest the national videos because I can't go. And there's a lot of people doing great stuff, talking to people. At the end of the day, they go to the hotel room and they show off what they picked up, scenes from around. But there's a couple people out there that I want to yell at because a couple people are just filming tables. And they go around to all the dealer tables and just scan the cards. No comment, nothing else. No commentary, no, wow, look at that. Just, 10 minutes of scanned images of dealer tables, which, let's be honest, we've all seen a bunch of vintage Topps cards. We've all seen vintage T206 cards. I don't need somebody to just blindly show me a table full of what's available at a dealer show, especially if I'm not there. Really, I don't know why they're doing it. So a little pitch to everybody who's doing that. I don't mind if your video shows that, and then you go on to other things and you talk about other things. But again, a couple of these people, that's all it was. It was no speaking. Maybe their introduction, and then this was day 2 at the National, and it was just a seamless image stream of dealer tables and nothing else, and then the video ended. And again, I don't mind if you do that, if you follow it up with more information. Talk about, well, this is the dealer, this is what he's got at his table, or interview your friends, or show us what you picked up that day from that dealer. So it's just my little rant about people who are making videos. And to honor that theme of showing a nice card, but then talking about it, I figured I'd show off my collection of pre-war cards that I've acquired. So, my early set of cards that I've collected. Now, this isn't all of them. I didn't grab a couple cards, but these are the ones I had. These are all part of, these are in my box of the all-time great Phillies. Now, these aren't part of the all-time great Phillies, but they're standard size or tobacco size cards. They fit in a standard SGC or PSA slab. And there's a couple others I have, like I said, that are pre-war but are oversized cards. I didn't break them out. But let me go through them real quick. And again, it's a vintage card and I'm showing it, but I get to talk to you about it. So anyway, so I have an old Judge card. My only old Judge card is a Philadelphia Philly player named Ed Daly. He was a pitcher. It's an SGC 1. Blank back, but you can see the pinhole, so somebody had tacked this up to a wall at some time in the past. Really cool card. My only old Judge. There are old Judge. The Phillies were a good team in the 1800s. They weren't winners, but they were always top tier. Top of the division. 1 through 4 team most years in the 1800s. When they existed. And they have some big name stars. Ed Delahanty, Sam Thompson, Billy Hamilton, Dan Bruthers was on the team briefly. So, I think I said Billy Hamilton, but Napoleon Lajoie, when he first came in the league, was on the Phillies. Elmer Flick. There's some major Hall of Famers that were with the Phillies. So getting an old Judge card of those guys is like tens of thousands of dollars. So that's why I got Ed Daly. The other one I got, early great card, one of the Allen Ginter ones, happened to be a Philly, and it was Joe Mulvy. All right, now Joe Mulvy, little known star, not one of the bigger name stars, certainly one of the lesser of the stars featured in the Allen Ginter release. You got Cap Anson, King Kelly, and a couple other major Hall of Famers, which cost you a fortune. But this one reminds me of regrets. I picked this card up off the bay when I found it for what I thought was a reasonable price, because I didn't think I'd ever have the opportunity to buy one of these Allen Ginters. And then like 3 weeks later, after I bought this and it came, that's when Rick over at Oddball Cards was selling off some of his cards, and he was offering this card for sale out of his collection. This is a PSA 3. I don't know what Rick's was. I wouldn't have cared, but it was the price he was asking was about 1/3 of what I paid for this one. So I was very bummed about that. Very, very, very upset. The next ones, now we're getting into a couple that are actually part of my all-time great Phillies PSA set registry. And this is a minor league card of an adventure of a player who reached the Phillies later on and was part of the 1915 World Series team, but also went on to manage the team a little bit and was with the team for a long period of his major league career, and that is Gabby Cravath. You can see here he's with Minneapolis, I believe. Yeah. I'm assuming that was still the Minneapolis Millers back in the day, but this is his T206 card, Gabby Cravath, just a Piedmont back. All right. The other member of the all-time great Phillies PSA set registry from the T206 set is your Sherry McGee. Sherry McGee, the portrait one, also a Piedmont back. And again, this is not the error card, certainly. Your error card is like $20,000 when you find it. I had a trouble when I first got the card. I couldn't get PSA to register it, and my registry wouldn't click, as if it was seeing the card, and it wouldn't add it to my registry. So I had to email back and forth with PSA a couple times. So much so that when I got it and it wouldn't register, I thought, well, maybe it was the other one. So I went ahead and picked up the bat on shoulders McGee as well, with the with bat. And this one here is PSA 3. It's a cool polar bear back. So I do have both of these cards. And then I did see another Philadelphia collector who has acquired all of the T206 Phillies, which are very inexpensive. The Phillies were kind of going downhill in the early 1900s. Harry Wright was no longer manager. Ownership was shifting. So they began a downward spiral into the mediocrity that they would experience all through from that time up until the 70s, when they became good again. Anyway, those are my T206 cards. Then one of the first vintage Phillies cards I picked up was a T205. Picked this up at the Philly show several years ago. John Titus. John Titus, a longtime Philadelphia Philly player back into the 1800s. So SGC2 on that. A bio on the back for him. Then you get into a really cool card I picked up. I got this at a heritage auction online. Probably overpaid for it, but it's a good card, and it's a good addition to my collection. 1913 Tom Barker game card of Grover Cleveland Alexander in a PSA 8. If you know anything about the cards, because they're printed on card stock with a bit of a laminate around them, they usually stay in pretty good shape. So it's not hard to find them in good condition. But this 8 is a really nice example. And it's a vintage era Grover Cleveland Alexander card. So I'm happy to have it in my collection. Lastly, the last Phillies one I want to show off is my part of the PSA all-time great Phillies registry again, but it's the 1933 Gowdy Chuck Klein. So this one's just in a good 2, I think it is, marked. And the mark is on the back. I've shown this a couple times before. You can see somebody had written something up here, but it was erased on pencil. So those are some of the vintage cards I have in my collection. And if you're going to show them, you should talk about them. And lastly, I want to show one other card that's not a Philly card, but it's special because I just got this. I hope most of you participated in Hobby Palooza. I did. Made several specific donations on specific channels to get a chance to win certain prizes. I picked my spots where I'd send out like a couple $20 donation here, there, and other places, so that I could get into all the drawings I really wanted to win. One of the biggest ones I wanted to win, I really wanted to get the Shoeless Joe Jackson portraits that Scott over at Ranger Studios was painting. Didn't make that one, but another one I was really hoping to get is the one I did score. And if you saw Hobby Palooza, maybe you saw this drawing, but from Rick over at Vintage Oddball Cards. Shout out to Rick. Thank you very much, sir. I just received your card. It is an STC Authentic T205 Eddie Collins. So I was looking up on the bay. I think these will go for like anywhere from $100 to $150 in authentic edition. This one obviously was pasted into a scrapbook at some time. Got some paper loss on the back. But again, I mean, this was a gift in a sense. It was a win, a contest win, a donation win, whatever you want to say. And I got a really cool Eddie Collins T206 in my collection. So again, just a couple. This does not represent all of the vintage cards in my collection, but just a couple pre-war Hall of Fame cards I wanted to show off. And again, if you're going to show off video of vintage cards, please say something about that. Don't just show rows and rows of dealer tables and not give any context. That's just one man's humble opinion. Let me know what you think about that comment in the videos. I'd like to see if anybody else thought the same thing. I mean, we all show content, but how many of us just hold up a card and go like this? No, we say something about the cards that we go through, don't we? So anyway, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please consider like, subscribing, commenting, and all that jazz. I really do appreciate your support as I try my best to support everybody else in this great card meeting, all right? Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your week. We got more content on Wednesday and Friday, so I hope to see you there. Take care.